Legends of the Hidden Temple,
with your host, Kat MacBerrie,
and Doug MacBerrie.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Frogs of Calamitous Intent. So last time, on the first Legends of the Hidden Temple reference, we went to the first temple, which happened to be Marcy's gem, and through her smarts and grit, we managed to power up the first gem. And now it's on to the second gem. And if the previews have told me anything, this is definitely going to be Anne's temple. I look forward to see how this temple is going to, interpret their means of friendship in terms of their traps and stuff. How do you think that's going to work?
I assume maybe this one will be a more populous temple. Sort of, put Anne's social skills to the test.
Maybe she has to, befriend the guards or the monsters or something.
Something like that.
Should be interesting considering how most of the creatures she's encountered has tried to eat her in this series, but...
Like, from seeing the, on Disney Now, seeing the screenshot that they're using, it looks like we're going to get a character from the Bazaar finally making a return.
I've been wondering about that, because I see that episode in reruns, and I keep thinking, why would they drop this person here if they were just going to go to Newtopia later and get things explained? So hopefully this will answer some questions they weren't able to back in the city. So yeah, we have the second temple, and we also have...
Barrel's Warhammer.
I admit I did see some clips leaked online for that. I didn't watch them, but I know for a fact it's going to involve Sasha and Grime. So I'm guessing this is going to be the episode where they start gathering their Toad forces together. As for, the title, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a weapon they have to look for or something.
Maybe they're going to play Warhammer 40k.
Oh, God. They're going to have, a giant map with all the tiny characters they're painting.
No, that would make more sense for Marcy.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sasha or Grime would be into that. Maybe Grime, but...
Yeah. Either way, it should be an exciting episode ahead, so let's not waste any more time.
On your mark, get set... Go!
Ah.
Dun, dun, dun.
How do you assemble this monkey?
Temple guard.
Ah.
Hot pocket!
Woolly mantises. Ouch.
Could it be invisible?
It looks like a frog is punching a bee with its tongue.
Super vague. They just mentioned the word heart a lot.
Catching one, anyway.
Are we looking for something heart-shaped?
Maybe we have to rip someone's heart out.
Heart.
I know that crazy bird. Ah!
Follow that bird. Aha.
Diana.
So you have another
Did
shop.
you meet her in the Bazaar? Yeah.
Out to lunch again?
God damn it.
Because it's the most important meal of the day!
Not wrong.
Creature. What brings you here? Seek a temple to charge an ancient stone?
Oh, yes.
How did you know?
Indeed.
Oh, I'm Marcy, BT Dubs.
Nice to meet you.
Nah.
Hi.
Molly here.
I should very much like to hold it.
No, don't do
I'd
it.
rather hold on to it.
Suit yourself.
Didn't you see how she looked at the music box? Plus, she owned a parrot. Only bad guys own parrots. That's ridiculous, Anne.
That's
Now,
racist.
Come on, or they'll leave us behind.
Giant cardinal.
Oh, God.
Relax, everyone. It's just a cardinal. They don't eat frogs. She's just saying hello.
They're also very aggressive birds.
Cardinals eat caterpillars. And what's our code?
It's almost like she set them up.
More. Emma, good. There's no time. Now let's get out of here.
Great, now you're gonna freeze.
Don't worry, Anne. We'll huddle around you for warmth.
Aww.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can wait.
It's in what asking.
How exactly did it come into your possession?
Good question.
I don't remember how we got it. Next to that.
Superhero and away.
How is everyone out to lunch right now?
It's just that time.
Except in this case, they're out to
Let's
lunch.
just hurry and get to the temple.
Oh.
Hey, future cat, can you add in a rim shot?
Disobedient.
You are full of such fraud spit.
Language.
We may be unworthy, but you and your order are even worse. You're nothing but a cruel, judgmental snob.
Like,
Right! Yeah? What are you gonna do about it?
oh boy. Now you done it.
You guys see that?
Aurora Borealis! At this point in day, in this point in time, it's located entirely within the show.
Never. I can return the box to its rightful guardian.
Green!
Oh shit.
Hey, wait! No! You're wrong! I'm not that selfish!
Oh no! Didn't you lie to the planters to get out of a day of work?
How do you know that? Whoa!
Didn't you drive the family snail even though you were told not to?
Huh.
Okay, this is getting weird. What else do you know?
I know that you snore.
Better get that one to yourself.
Yeah.
But you did steal the music box, did you not?
That is true.
And now the box will be mine!
Dodge!
Ah, you have to save me!
Don't I just wave the stick up and down to get back?
You weren't supposed to figure that out!
I did lie and steal. If that makes me unworthy, fine. Those bad choices were mine, and I'll own them. But making them taught me that it's always better to do the right thing. So that's what I did, regardless of how much I didn't want to.
Oh, Mom, you cleaned up nice! You have sacrificed your warmth for your friend.
She turned into
Your
Gandalf
son
the White.
For a stranger in need.
So the cardinal, the avalanche, all this was...
A trial. You see,
Figured.
making our way through the temple this whole time.
Interesting, she only lost like half her
Yeah.
Bit.
Buffering.
What is this, Windows 98?
Sorry, this thing's pretty old.
No, I get it, no problem.
Something to read or...
Seriously, it's fine. Oh no, they're in trouble. What if it's another avalanche? No, Charge enough. Let's go. Send me back, send me back, send me back, send me back.
I feel like that's gonna come into play later.
Hang on, guys. I got you. Huh?
Hang on, Marcy is showing us ridiculously cute animal videos on her phone.
Dang it!
You, but now we're taking a break.
Uh-oh. Glitchy stone.
Right back to this
That is not good. I guess that means even if they charge their stone, they're not gonna get back home. And it's gonna be Anne's fault.
But
She still has that power. Maybe she can finally use it. Ugh.
What do you think I'll do?
Hey, mood!
Is he asleep or dead?
Definitely smells, Dad.
I think that guy might be dead.
Especially that Captain Beatrix.
Her problem is that she's my sister, and I may
That makes
have
sense.
teased her quite a bit when we were tadpoles.
Wow, that's it. Stick a fork in us. We're done.
Yeah.
Loser talk.
Now we really are a team.
One
Huh.
eye. I see what you did there.
Nah.
First.
T-shirt cannon.
We're told to overthrow King Andreas and take our rightful place as rulers of all Amphibia!
Drop the mic.
Oh, right. You all took a huge risk coming here to gain support for your rebellion.
Paid off. We fucking loved us.
Nah.
Nicely done, Gravity.
No way. Is your real name?
You're not talking about this. So tell
Grimity.
us, who's leading this revolution? We love your vision, but no toad is going to follow the command of a fugitive and his Hamas.
Humans. We're called humans.
Bobo's
Oh,
right.
Hamas.
Just because King Andreas is working with
I don't believe it. They're working together without me?
God forbid they do anything without you.
Rude. What's it gonna take to prove that you should follow us?
Barrow's hammer.
Roll credits.
It's finally gone senile, Aldo. No toad has ever gone after the hammer and made it back alive. This I've got to
Good thing
see.
she's not a toad.
A signal? What kind of signal?
How about this? Do your best kawaii pose. It's something we do for photos in my world. Like this.
What's a photo?
Just try it.
Yeah, they're gonna do that one.
kawaii.
This is insane! Even if it exists, we'll never find it.
Found it.
Meh.
Did
Whoever lifts this hammer, if he be worthy, will gain the power of Thor.
And no beast in sight?
But if they lift it, the beast will probably come out.
Okay, gang, on 3.
Look alive.
Yeah, nothing's ever this easy.
You didn't think it would be that easy, did ya?
Oh God.
What a great way to go.
That's a huge bitch.
Nah.
Sorry, guys, but we're way too close to Bale.
I am not going back empty-handed. Steer us closer. We need to get it to attack us.
Okay, Ahab.
Trust me.
Big shock. Sasha disregards the feelings of her friends. You really think that was gonna work?
It's not very effective.
Alright, now we've got its attention. Now!
Meh. Ooh. What if they gain control of the beast and take it back?
Man, that was my mom's bow.
That's why she's able to like maneuver it that
What
way.
do you think you're doing?
I'm getting the Warhammer back to the tower.
You're insane and I love it.
I mean, they just said she had to bring back the hammer. It doesn't matter if it's attached to anything.
Yep.
This year, the R&D team gives you armor customization.
That-
That ducky was nice.
That's clearly a narwhal worm being ridden by a hummus, heading straight for us.
It's coming right for us.
The tower, it's coming up too fast. We're going to crash into it. Go left, go left.
On your left.
Always go left.
I am not gonna fail. Not while Anne and Marcy are getting by with it.
I saw the eyes.
Yep. Sorry, you need plus 20 strength to lift that. Oh, damn.
Damn, the XP she just got.
Yeah. Ooh.
One Warhammer, as promised.
Sasha, we almost died back there.
We trusted you, and you didn't care one bit about what happened to us, as long as you got what you wanted.
That's not true. Besides, we did it.
No, Sasha,
You did it.
And I think me and Braddock are done with this. With all of it.
What? Where are you going?
Yeah.
Guys, come back.
Now come on, soldier. We've got a world to conquer.
Goodbye, Percy. Goodbye, Braddock.
Is it just sleeping out there?
It had a busy day.
Something tells me this was a theme with Sasha.
Driving people away.
Surprised it took them this long to get to that, but then again, when you're forced to ride a gigantic narwhal with the intent to kill you, yeah, I imagine you call it quits after that.
Well, that was a lot to unpack.
I said we'd get plot, and damn did we get plot. Ooh, boy. And not only that, but we finally get more of an inkling as to how the stones and their powers work. We'll start with the second temple. A lot shorter than the first temple, that's for sure. But then again, they only had the one plot line going on, so I guess they didn't need the full half hour.
So yeah, once again, it was, that, and kind of like what we were thinking would happen, and social skills are put to the test. Ultimately, she has to, some things that she would normally do, and then one thing that, she wouldn't normally do.
Well, the big test, I think, was more her compassion, just...
Yeah.
Because, think about it, she ended up saving 3 different types of people.
Yeah.
She saved her friends and friends and family.
She saved a complete stranger even though they were out to lunch.
And she saved an enemy.
Yep.
That proves that, despite all of her other misdeeds and stuff, she still does have a good heart deep down, so hence why she's worthy. I do like how they set that up, and that it wasn't obvious at first, how this was going to play out. Because with, Marcy's, you kind of figured it's obviously the person had to be intelligent to get through, and then, of course, by the end they had to test, whether or not they were humble enough to have said intelligence with, and it was to show that despite all of her other, selfish tendencies,
she still had the right idea all along. She was not misguided.
Yes, despite her flaws, she still had a good heart and knew to do what was right, even if it wasn't her best interest. I made a sudden realization that kind of makes Anne a hypocrite when you think about it. She never told the Plantars how she got the music box. It took that newt lady, revealing that, the way she got it was in itself dishonest. And it's kind of, again, ironic and hypocritical because she's mad at Hop Hop for hiding the chest from her. But then again, he had a good reason to, because he feared for his family's safety. With her, she stole the music box probably because her friends told her to. So that kind of puts Anne more in a bad light, and I'm wondering if she's actually going to tell the Plantars what
it is, while it is hypocritical, with Anne, though, it is her means to get home. And the fact that, Hop Hop would actually be actively keeping that from her and not telling her, it's like, when were you going to tell me this? It's not like her having stolen the music box in the first place really had any bearing. At least not at this point in time. They've never questioned it. They've kind of gone along with everything. And, they've been actively wanting to get her home. But then, the fact that Hop Hop did that actually actively deviates from what she thought. That she thought that they were trying to help her.
I guess so.
So, yes, you are right that it is a bit hypocritical. But again, I feel like what Hop Hop did had more consequences than what Anne did.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I guess that at most, if they do find out, it just makes her seem a little more untrustworthy. But, they've been through so much at this point that shouldn't be that big a deal.
Either way, it's like whether or not somebody, the hypocriticalness kind of falls short when it comes to, do you feel you can trust this person if they've broken your trust?
I guess so.
Yeah.
The good payoff for the lady that we met in the Bizarre Bazaar, because again, that had been bothering me for a bit as to, what was her whole thing. So it was nice to see that we get an explanation. Not only that, but there's a whole group of these creatures. I'm honestly wondering if we find out more about them, if they come more into play, because kind of weird that they couldn't find any information about the box. Neither could, the Newts in Utopia, at least that we know of. But suddenly there's this whole group dedicated to it. So I just feel I guess it's one of those secret groups or something.
For God's sakes, they only come out when, the Bizarre Bazaar happens, and it's like, you have to sort of be in the right place at the right time for that.
Yeah.
And then not only that, you have to, be able to, find entry into it.
I just say, I'm a little confused with the geographical landscape of Amphibia. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to have, a frozen north, but I would think
that anything, from there would survive.
I'm surprised that, that the frogs and even that newt lady managed to survive, because they're cold-blooded. As soon as the temperature gets below a certain degrees, they can't function anymore.
Is she a newt, though? I thought she was more of a snake.
No, she was a newt. She was missing an arm. Missing one arm. And she had a tail, so...
We'll see.
But I think the big fallout from this, though, is definitely the half-powered jewel. I'm surprised that it really took that long for that gem to power up, because I don't remember it taking that long with Marcy's jewel. But also the fact that it still kind of functions, sort of, with only half the magic.
Maybe it's because when Marcy was looking at it, both her eyes were open. When Anne was looking at it, she had one eye closed. Maybe that's why it didn't quite register as quickly.
I guess.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I just know that that's definitely going to come into play later when they finally power up all three jewels, but then it doesn't work. I'm just wondering, how long it's going to take him to figure that out. And I'm surprised that the newt lady didn't say anything, because you think she would have noticed that, hey, you haven't fully powered this, it's not going to work the way you want it to. But again, that's future plot point. Won't worry about it then.
I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play in true colors at the end.
Most likely.
Yeah. Damn it. And they had to do the whole Empire Strikes Back thing with with Anne hearing the Plantars and Marcy screaming, and then it turns out it's just like a funny video.
Like, God damn it. Like, if you leave now, you'll ruin everything that your friends worked for. Well, look what happened. And now we move on to, was it Barrel's Warhammer? Oh boy. I mean, I knew we were going to get back to, like, Sasha and Grime with this, but I didn't expect him to actually get into the whole thing with the gem as well. About time, because we haven't really seen Sasha do anything in regards to her gem powers. I'm also surprised that given that Grime is disgraced, they were still able to assemble all the, other toads. I would have thought that, if they might be in league with the Newts. If, the fact that, the Newts are actively looking for a replacement for, Toad Tower. Which Toad Tower was it? I think that was the South one.
South one? Yeah. So, I'm, like, surprised that they were willing to entertain an audience with him rather than, alert the Newts that they were there.
Well, keep in mind, the previous episodes, we saw that the Newts were now having trouble with uprisings again with the Toads. Because that was what General Uned was, like, telling the king about. So we know that there's definitely a little more discourse there. I assume that it was all Grimes doing, trying to rally the masses. I'm guessing this must have been a meeting for, like, all the towers, just to, like, all state their business. And, I mean, he technically, like, I know Toad Tower fell, but he technically is still, ward of it.
But I would have thought, that discourse was all within the valley, not,
Well, we don't know how far, like, all the towers stretch, because you had the three who were from, the east, west, and north towers. That could have stretched over the entire continent of Amphibia. I'm just saying that, they're probably in the beginning of wanting to, take on Utopia. They just have to, like, organize themselves first and figure out, who's going to lead them and how they can, like, gather forces without the king knowing and so on and so forth. Yeah, Sasha kind of reacted pretty much the way I expected her to, because, yeah, we know that she definitely, in terms of the way she handles her friends, she's definitely toxic in that sense, in that she is a good leader, she gets things done, but they have to be her way. And they have to do everything involving her. And the second that they deviate from that, she goes apeshit. Yeah, I felt so bad for the other two Toads, because frankly I'm surprised they stuck around to begin with, because they didn't seem like the most battle-driven out of the other Toads she worked with, but I guess it was more out of loyalty, because she did befriend them initially. Plus, she's kind of the reason they got together. But, yeah, the fact that, she gave them, like, a safety cue when they started feeling comfortable, and even after they gave it, she still
broke
pushed.
from it, yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't do that with friends, because everybody has their limits, and, everybody, like, they need that. So to know that that when they're getting uncomfortable, when you break that, you just...
Yeah. Like, it would have been one thing if the narwhal worm had already broken their boat, before they made the distress, but the fact that, they still had time to leave before that happened, it's like, that's very telling.
Yep. I mean, at least in doing that, we finally saw Sasha kind of show off her powers. Because everybody had been theorizing that, she had the powers of the pink gem. We didn't know what that entailed exactly, but now we kind of have an inkling. I guess maybe super strength is part of it, given the fact she was able to yank the hammer off of the creature.
I'd say there's probably a little more to it. Like, super strength might be an effect.
I mean, to be fair, she did need Grime to fully lift it. So maybe the power only works when she's using it with, like, other people.
Yeah, like, I'd say that the power is a result of... The super strength is a result of whatever, is actually her power.
I guess so.
Like, yeah.
It's still frustrating, because we don't really know what the powers of these gems are. Because, again, the girls have had them this whole time, ever since they've been transported. But, at the same time, like, we've seen, like, gleams of what of what they might be able to do. They haven't outright been able to do them. It's not like, because, again, Sasha's the closest example in that she was able to lift something that she probably couldn't have done on her own. But at the same time, the others, like, they would be in an intense situation, and while we'd see them, fight and everything, it's not like, they suddenly gained, like, telekinetic powers or the ability to fly or anything like that. It was just, they're in, like, fight mode, and it just happens to...
It occurs to me, and it's kind of occurred to me before, but my, premise for this was a little more of a shallow thing, given that, it's another one of those, sort of like the animes where they travel to a different world and they, befriend people. But it's really, to me, feeling like Digimon now, because, okay, so you've got 3 humans transported to this alternate world, and they all have these attributes which get, once they realize them, get transferred into a power source and, power up a gem or
a crest.
Or a crest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of makes a little more sense. I guess whenever they're acting on, like, their best attribute, that's when it activates. Well, I guess it makes sense, because with Anne, when her eyes lit up the first time, it was because she was defending her family. And with Marcy, when it activated, she was using her knowledge to go inside that giant ant to free Sprig. So with Sasha, I guess, since her component, is strength, she was actively trying to lift something, despite the odds. So I guess that's when her power activated. So I guess that makes more sense in terms of how the powers actually work.
Yeah. Like, I think, for what, going off of what you said, it's something that, it's something that would work for their attribute, but in this case is a particular challenge. But with Anne, it's like she's facing an opponent, bigger, but she's trying to defend her family. She's using her social skills for, defending. And then with Marcy, it's like she's using her knowledge to take on, a task, greater than something she would normally take on. And then with Sasha, it's a little more complicated. I think it's like she's usually been able to convince and she's usually been able to power. But in this case, she faces, something that's beyond her control. So I guess that's sort of what she might have.
See, I can see that, definitely. Well, we know that, like, the big thing with her this episode was her anger and indignation at her friends. Not only is she at odds with them right now, but they're actively helping the side that she's not on, and they're doing it, without her say so, without her guidance or anything. And I think that's what is really driving her, because if her whole thing is strength, I feel like this is, like, going to be a test, or at least is going to be probably what puts her at odds by the time we get to her temple. Because now she's going to question herself, and that, is her whole Iron Fist technique really, the right way she's going to be doing things. Because I feel like it's going to be a big shit show when we get to the 3rd temple, because she's going to be pissed at them, she's going to be pissed that she lost allies, and she's just going to... She's probably going to make a mess of everything. I'm guessing that's where the flashback comes in, too. Because I've seen, for the promos, we saw, like, flashbacks to when they were, like, little kids. And I remember seeing, like, snippets where I guess it was showing Anne and Marcy being bullied or something, and she steps in. So I guess maybe we'll find out more on that backstory. Actually, you know what the whole layout of Amphibia, as well as the function of the different creatures kind of remind me of? The Wizard of Oz. Because think about it. You have King Andreas and Utopia right at the center in their big gleaming city, which is the Emerald City. You have the evil toads who reign the north, west, east, and south towers, similar to the witches. I know they're not all evil, but point remains. And then you have Anne and the Plantars, who are part of Wartwood, and the Frogs, who are the common people, which is, the Munchkins. of Munchkinland.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not I don't think it's exclusive just to Wizard of Oz, because I know, like in the Dragon Ball universe, they have the North, South, East, West Kais, and then the Grand Kai, who control all different parts of the universe. And then there's even a further hierarchy with the Supreme Kais, and that structure is pretty common, I'd say, in a lot of
I just kept thinking
media.
that more because, especially when you have, like, a girl travels from her home to a mystical land, she befriends, different characters and, like, on her journey to the city and all that.
A alien monkey befriends a girl, dies, and goes to this other land, still making companions and enemies along the way.
Wizard of Oz came first.
Well, I think Dragon Ball is based on an old story, The Journey to the West.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how old that is, but I bet it's older than The Wizard of Oz.
I've read a good portion, or at least I've seen videos of a good portion of that tale, and it's kind of similar, but not quite. But I'm just saying, I just feel The Wizard of Oz allegory is a little more accurate to this, given what we've seen and everything.
I mean, honestly, pick your poison, because like I said, I don't think it's, exclusive to just what we've said.
And not to mention, they need the jewels to get home, aka the ruby slippers.
Again, pick your, your poison in terms of media of, this structure, but I'm sure you'll find it in not just what we've said, but in other, in other stories and other,
I know. Yeah. I just couldn't help but make that, realization as I was watching this. So what's next week's episode?
Next week's episode, we have Bessie and Michelangelo and the Third Temple.
So Bessie gonna get her own episode?
Mm-hmm. And maybe Michelangelo, too.
Which one was he again?
So you remember in Hopping Mall when Polly got that new bucket along with the little snail to drive it?
Oh, she kept that?
Yeah. Not only that, but if, back in Return to Wartwood, you see him for a split second, too, when she kisses him and then throws him away as she's searching the wagon.
Okay. I was wondering about that because she spent all this money on her own steed with a fancy bucket. And we never see it after that episode. I just thought that was weird, but I guess it's gonna be Bessie teaching the smaller snail how to navigate around Wartwood or something.
Could be.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad. I like Bessie. Yep. She's adorable. I'm just seeing more Joe trying to court her or whatever. I still thought that was adorable. added to the top weird characters that I ship at the moment.
Then again, we've been watching Doom Patrol recently, and we've probably seen some much weirder bestiality sort of thing.
We're not going to say that here. We'll watch Doom Patrol. You will see the weirdest animal pairing in your life, and it's going to scar your brain forever. Seriously, I don't think Rule 34 has anything on this. And then, of course, like I said, the Third Temple. I'm guessing we're going to jump right into where Beryl's hammer left off. So, Sasha's going to probably be pissed off and in beast mode at this point.
I'm also going to take a wild guess and say that they try to go to the Third Temple. Since this is a 2-episode thing, maybe they don't get in yet. Maybe Sasha doesn't show up yet, and so they're really unable to fulfill the Third Temple. And then it all comes down to true colors. Because if I'm looking, what we've got next, we've got, Bessie and Michelangelo in the Third Temple. Then we've got the dinner and Battle of the Bands. And then the season finale, True Colors. So, I don't know if, we'll actually maybe not get an encounter with Sasha yet. And maybe, the temple goes unfulfilled, or that maybe it does go fill, but they're unable to activate the gem.
Now that you mention it, since the gem's only partially activated, will it even have the power to, send them to where the next gem is? Because that was the thing with the previous one, Marcy's gem immediately, sent them in the other gem's direction. But with this, it's like, does it really work if it's half-powered?
Or maybe Marcy and Anne don't find the temple. Maybe Sasha and Grime find it, and it's just them going through the temple.
That wouldn't make sense, though, because even if she has, the worthy power, she doesn't have the gem. So it's kind of pointless.
We'll see. I mean, honestly,
I do agree that that the others probably will find the temple, but as you said, because Sasha's not there, they can't access it right away. So it's probably going to be just on their map until they figure it out. Mm-hmm. So it's so much ahead, and we still have a few, filler as well, or, towny episodes or whatever.
Like, we've got about 3 episodes left of the season, so...
We still have no answers about Frobo. Like, they mentioned him briefly in the first
he'll make hot chocolate.
So I guess he cooks now. But, yeah, we still have to, get answers on that, as well as see how he interacts with the family in, this normal town setting. So, I guess, like I said, we still have a lot ahead of us to figure out, but I know that I'm looking forward to it, because, whoo boy, if this episode's any indication, things are going to get real. But until then, everyone, I'm Kat MacBerrie.
I'm Doug MacBerrie.
And this is part 2 of Legends of the Hidden Temple.